welcome to the Movieception Show. My name is Fariba, and actually earlier today, the final House of Dragon Season 3 trailer came out. I know I'm a little late to joining the party. It's been quite a day for me, but better late than never, and I actually haven't even seen the trailer yet, so I kind of am very impressed for not being spoiled that much for that coming season, but I've been hearing a lot of great things about this final trailer. Of course, when we are looking at House of the Dragon, the reputation has been a little bit more mixed. First season was absolutely exceptional. People keep raving about it. But of course, the second season is where a lot of people are a little bit mixed. I don't know if it's because of the lack of action or things that weren't as thoroughly developed. But the idea is that season 3 seems to really kind of pick up the steam when it comes to the actual action. I think one thing to really argue is that season 2 was just the beginning of the war, whereas season 3 we're kind of getting into the height of it. So, and of course, we already know that after this season, we're going to have one more season after that. So, there isn't a whole lot of House of the Dragon left. I mean, this is a show that's already kind of through the halfway mark. So, but yeah, I want to check out this final trailer. A lot of people have been talking about it, so I'm not going to waste any more time. So without further ado, let's get right down into watching the final trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3.
These are turbulent times.
Rhaenyra is coming. You are no longer safe here. Their defeat is written.
Oh!
Without further bloodshed.
The Queen has many dragons. But her subjects do not feel safe, nor should they.
I see you have been merciful. But the crown is a weight that crushes. You'll do things that spell death for all involved.
Little by little, bite by bite, we are exposing her as weak and unsuited to rule.
My enemies have been allowed to muster their strength.
She'll certainly fail. And we raise our own throne.
I believe that's Stark.
In a war, all suffer.
We've come so far, and yet you still don't know who you are.
Have you not betrayed your queen? Bring Aegon, the usurper, to me. Did I not warn you that you would come to this?
Okay, so that was the final trailer for House of the Dragon Season 3, and people were not kidding. I was honestly stunned watching that final trailer, and I would say this. Usually I don't watch a lot of final trailers in general, whether it be movies or TV, just because by then I think I have a really good idea of like what's going to happen in either TV or movie. And considering the fact that we've had plenty of teasers and trailers in the past, and considering the fact that the show itself it's already this close to being releasing, that I didn't think that I had to watch the final trailer. But I'm not gonna lie, watching this trailer in particular may have really just upped my I don't even know if I can say it like excitement, because this is not something that you should really be excited for. People are about to die in this season, but I think what this trailer has really given the sense is that this is a installment that is seeming to kind of get the gist of Game of Thrones' DNA in a way that we're gonna have lots of bloodshed, lots of battles, lots of fights, lots of politics, and it looks as though that we might even see kind of essence of Rhaenyra kind of having like a whole Daenerys phase. We'll see about that. I don't know if that's what the trailer itself was basically hinting, but let's go into it, because as I said, like, the visuals look absolutely stunning. I mean, there's a couple of battles that we see in this trailer, some on sea, some on land. We see one between Daemon and what looks to be Alicent's brother. So I think that's like the Hightower brother. I'm not 100% sure, because I know that's James Norton. That's the actor's name. I know he plays, like, I think one of the Hightowers. So we're having that, but I think not only that, but just seeing a lot of dragon action, which I'm sure a lot of people are going to be so happy so happy to see that's going to be happening in season 3, because I think a lot of people complain about the fact that there was such a lack of dragon battles in season 2, when it was just only the beginning of the war, and we only saw by the end of season 2 that Rhaenyra will finally start to unleash a lot of the dragons. And of course, again, when you look back on the Game of Thrones myth, the lore, the fact that it was after this civil war with the Targaryens, or the Dance of Dragons, that dragons end up being extinct not long after this war, and they would not be alive for quite some time, not until Daenerys Targaryen's era, right? And so we know the consequences of what this war is going to be like. We're getting the essence of this. We're expecting lots of deaths. Although the question is who's going to make it by the end of season 3 and who's not going to make it by the end of season 3. I think we kind of have an idea of what might actually happen, because we're seeing lots and lots of bloodshed. But I think the key thing that really stood out is the fact that you can see, I think it's Alicent who's saying this, but she's talking about how, you know, just because once you have the power to rule the kingdom, it makes you do things that, you know, are pretty inevitable. And we're talking about the sense that there might be abuse, there might be conflicts, there are going to be some bloodshed, and we're getting a sense of this right here. Now, it sounds as so that Rhaenyra may end up back in King's Landing. I'm not 100% sure. It looks like it, because we can see a lot of people from King's Landing. We see a lot of dragons landing on King's Landing. Then we're seeing the Queen of Bastards, and then the fact that Alicent's brother is, like, you know, people of, you know, King's Landing are going to see how weak she is, etc., etc. And now it does seem to hint that at some point Rhaenyra is going to really turn rogue, become cold-blooded, and if I recall, her name ends up becoming Rhaenyra the Cruel. I don't know if that's something that will eventually, you know, become a part of her, and that it happens more naturally, or if that becomes like that, a sense of how the people reflect on how they believe or how they think of her. So I'm very intrigued about that, because again, these are coming from the Fire and Blood books from George R. R. Martin. Of course, I've not read them, but I'm a little bit aware of the lore. And if I recall, I mean, what we're kind of the context from the book is based on, I believe, a maester. So we're only seeing from that perspective, but we're not seeing the perspectives of, like, the characters that we see here. And so there's still a lot of questions going into season 3, just how things are going to end up, how things are going to change from the concept of the books. Of course, you know, there's a little bit of a conflict, not just on the show, but behind the scenes, of course, with the fact that with how season 2 was handled, George R. R. Martin himself wasn't really happy with the leadership from Ryan Condal, who is, of course, the showrunner for this series. And if you don't know, the first season was, I believe it was co-showrun with Ryan Condal and Michael Sapolchnik. And if you don't know who Sapolchnik is, he's a guy who has directed so many of the big Game of Thrones episodes. Like, I believe Battle Bastards is one of them. I think Hardhome may have been one of them. And so, of course, he seemed like a natural person to be involved with the show, but then he actually left the show following season 1, and then he didn't return for season 2, so it's only been Ryan Condal. But even then, ever since then, there has been a lot of conflict going on between George R. R. Martin and Condal, because George R. R. Martin has been, in a sense, alleging that Condal hasn't been as upfront, hasn't been as communicative about the series as he would have wanted. And of course, we already know what has happened before when showrunners or, you know, creative minds do not reach out to George R. R. Martin for consultation, and we've seen what happened in season 8. And so, but I hope that maybe that's just, you know, a small hiccup with season 2. Maybe season 3 will change our minds. Maybe that will change George R. R. Martin's mind, because who knows what's gonna happen, right? But I think from the sense of this, having seen the final trailer right here, I'm actually very stoked. I'm actually very excited to see what's going to happen. Like, how much bloodshed we're going to see, how much things are going to evolve. Are we going to see more internal conflicts? Are we expecting Rhaenyra to kind of go to the dark side in a way that we saw similarly with Daenerys? Like, are we kind of seeing a little bit of a parallelism? And again, as I said, I've not read the book, so I don't know much about the actual context of what happens afterwards, but I kind of have a gist of things here and there. Like, I know some of the lore, I don't know all the lore. I think we saw some Stark guys. I think we may have seen Clegane Stark. I believe one of them was Alice Blackwood, who she ends up marrying to Clegane. So, see, I know my stuff, But yeah, we're finally starting to see a lot of houses getting involved, a lot of big houses. So I'm sure a lot of people are very happy to see that happening. And that was just one bit. We probably might see the Lannisters. I don't know if I can't remember if we even saw the Baratheons by this point. I mean, we saw Baratheons in a Night of the Seven Kingdoms, but I don't know if any of them were around by this point. I could be wrong. I know we have the High Towers. But now it's just a matter of who else will be involved, right? So, but yeah, it looks like the war is starting to expand a little bit. We're starting to see the consequences of that. And again, kind of the big question of, the thing that you want to do is try to end this war as soon as possible. Otherwise, a lot of people are going to die. We're seeing that here. That's like the big forewarning, not coming from just anybody else, but coming from Alicent, coming from people close to, even Rhaenyra is acknowledging this, right? So it's like, and now that fact that she could be becoming the queen, it's like, okay, well, how are people going to react to a queen taking the sea? And it looks as though there might be a lot of betrayals happening behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens. I mean, I'm very curious. And I hate also the fact that this is happening right as the World Cup is about to happen as well, which means that there will probably be some Sundays where I might be a little bit more delayed in posting some episodes. We'll see. I mean, I'm probably going to have to see what kinds of games are playing the same night that House of the Dragon Season 3 will drop its episodes. I'm hoping there won't be too many overlaps or conflicts, but we'll see how that goes. It's kind of annoying because it's like, yeah, but hey, hopefully things will work out. So, but yeah, that's all to say about the final trailer. I'm glad I actually got the chance to do a reaction for it, just because I was contemplating about it, and then of course I was hearing a lot of people, and that convinced me to do at least one for the final trailer, and it turned out to be a great decision. But that being said, I don't know your thoughts having seen the final trailer. What do you think about it now that, we're just about less than 3 weeks away from the Season 3 premiere? Were you a little bit more skeptical beforehand? Has the final trailer changed your mind about maybe returning to see House of Dragon for its 3rd season, maybe even for its 4th season? We know for a fact that Season 4 is going to be the final for the show. What do you think so far in terms of what we've seen visually? I mean, there's a lot of great battles. I think this is so far the best, but do you have other thoughts about that? Are your thoughts a little bit different from what everyone else is saying? That being the case, are you still convinced, or are you still needing more? Or are you excited for what could be the future of Game of Thrones now? Because again, it's been a while. Things have been kind of here and there, but it looks like we're finally starting to see some stability. But that being the case, I know your thoughts and any other thoughts and concerns going into House of Dragon Season 3. Let me know your thoughts below. Make sure to like and subscribe.